What's going on, everyone? This is your BlackBuster critic. Just got done watching Microsoft's E3 conference, and we have a few things to talk about here. Just give me one moment. Let me pull this list here. I'm still doing a live stream at the same time, so I'm still going to be looking at everything everyone's saying on the stream comments. But right before the conference, we watched a little bit of, I think, GameSpot or game trailers, pre-E3 chat or whatever. And they had people from Kotaku and everything, and they're telling us, like, hey, you know what we're looking for from Microsoft? We're not just looking for games, we're looking for clarifications. We're looking for clarifications on used games, clarifications on Xbox Live Gold, and everything else that we've been complaining about the Xbox One. But guess what Microsoft didn't do? They didn't explain anything that we've been looking for. That's why they canceled the media meeting after the conference. Because everyone's supporters that come up there to talk to Microsoft about it, they'd have those burning questions. They'd hear what Microsoft said about the Titan, and they'd ask them, hey, you guys said it was exclusive. Why are you saying that when it's also on PC? And Microsoft, I don't know what to say. Get out of here. Go. Media's closed. There's no more meetings here today. That's what they did. That's why they don't want to meet with anybody. Because people like me would go in there and hardball their ass. But anyway, also game trailers. They had this whole stupid console leaderboards thing on Twitter. Let's see what's trending. Looks like people are talking about Xbox One. Oh my, you PS4 fans, you guys want to change this rating? You guys need to let us know. That is the most irrelevant bullshit I've ever seen on a pre-E3 anything. Who cares what's trending on Twitter? People are going to be talking about Xbox One because it's Microsoft's conference that's coming up. No one's going to be talking about PS4 or the Wii U when it's Microsoft's conference we're waiting to see. And just like I predicted, all Microsoft did was show us a few exclusives, multi-platform games, timed exclusive stuff, and that pretty much boils down the entire conference. First, they started with Konami's Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which didn't look bad at all. Looked like a pretty good game. Open world Metal Gear Solid, even though it's kind of stupid when Snake was on the side of the horse and, oh, there's a horse over there, no one's riding it. Guess we'll just let that horse go. Hell no, they're not gonna do that. That was a pretty bad trailer, that part. But again, multi-platform. Then Kojima comes out there. I very paid. Thank you for the money you transfer to me bank account. I here for 5 seconds and I leave. That was it. He was there 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Only possible. The exit button architecture. And then he leaves. And throughout this entire conference, these developers are talking about only made possible with the Xbox One's architecture. How can you say that when it's less powerful than the PS4? Which means the PS4 is more than capable of doing the same thing, but doing it even better. And then next we had, they came out with some 360 stuff. Because we know Microsoft's not going to just outright abandon the Xbox 360 once the Xbox One launches, right? Remember the original Xbox? Yeah, they didn't support that very long, did they? Xbox Live for the original Xbox was out for a little while. But as far as games are concerned, they cut it off. But that Youssef douchebag came out talking about a brand new design, slimmer and more efficient Xbox to look like the Xbox One. Whoop-de-doo. Gold membership carries over to Xbox One. Really? You had to announce that? That's pretty much a given. We expected that much of you. Gold members receive 2 free game downloads. Whoa! game downloads? Incredible! I have never heard of an online service offering free game downloads. There's no way PSN's been giving away free games. There's no way Steam has had free games you can play. But because Microsoft's doing it, it's different. Somehow it's different. Oh, and they're giving away Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3. A grand total of $20 retail value. Just saving some money there. Free games. Then they announced a multi-platform game, World of Tanks, which has been out on the PC since 2011. April 2011. Wunderbar. Oh, and it's free to play on the Xbox, but guess what? You have to have Xbox Live Gold in order to play. So essentially, it's a free-to-play game that you have to have a paid subscription to play. This is gold. It's literally, and no pun intended, that's gold. And then they had this game called Max the Curse of Brotherhood. It's a platformer that essentially plays like Little Big Planet with a motion controller. Then they had another multi-platform game, Dark Souls 2. Sorry, let me fix the camera for everyone watching me live. There we go. I'm gonna have to keep readjusting this camera here. It's in my lap right now. And then they went on to the Xbox One stuff. Right now, they're developing more games in history than any Xbox in Xbox history. You didn't show us that. So just, you know, you can say anything you want, but unless you show us, that's a different thing. Then they showed Rise, Son of Rome, which initially was supposed to be a Kinect game. Later on, it became a /hack game with Kinect features. Now, it has no Kinect features at all. Now, it's simply a hack and slash 300 ripoff with QuickTime events. QuickTime the game. QuickTime Spartans, essentially. Spartans! What is your profession? QuickTime! 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 That's basically it. That's the whole game. And then, like, when they were getting to the part where they're launching arrows at the player and everything, they were just standing there getting hit with arrows. They'd get killed off, then shields! And then they'd prepare their lances to throw at the archers. They'd just sit there. Throw. Doesn't make any sense. And of course, it's an exclusive to Xbox One. Killer Instinct is back, but the people they had playing Killer Instinct were just... I mean, this happened later on, after the announcement, but it was still, you know, the lady, she was terrible. The dude wasn't doing anything that was impressive. They really didn't show off Killer Instinct for their big announcement. Insomniac came out, bunch of freaking traitors, with some game called Sunset Overdrive, which is kind of like a Mirror's Edge type game where it's kind of like a cross between Mirror's Edge and I think like, what is that game called? Prototype, where you got these creatures running around and everyone's joining together to kill it. It's like Mirror's Edge, Prototype, and Gotham City Imposters. That's essentially what it is. I don't really have too much to say about it. It didn't look bad, it didn't look good, whatever. I'd rather have a Ratchet and Clank game. And of course, Forza Motorsport 5, we all knew that was coming. I don't really care about that. But, you know, having this big shiny car on the stage That's really gonna change our opinion of the game, right? Having this big, shiny, orangey car on the stage. What was the point of that? And then most of the time on the screen, they just had this orange car in-game, orange car in real life. Orange car in-game, orange car in real life. What was the point? And then one thing they do throughout this entire conference is they try to upsell that cloud. They upsell the hell out of that cloud. But one thing they don't realize is that these features they say are cloud-based, cloud-reliant. Like the Forza AI is no longer AI, it's like cloud control learning program or whatever, which means it basically sees what everybody does and the cloud, learns, understands, and the cloud becomes its own player, which essentially is fucking AI. But if it's reliant on the cloud, what happens when your internet connection goes down? What happens when sometimes your internet connection bogs down? You guys know when you're on your computer, when sometimes you're browsing, and then all of a sudden, that little triangle with the exclamation point goes on there because your internet just cut out for just like maybe 5 to 10 seconds. What happens to the AI then? That's cloud reliant. You get cut off. So what happens then? That's a question, that's a good question that we should ask, but it's a question that Microsoft's not going to answer. And by the way, those cloud features you can't use offline. So they're making fundamental parts of the game online reliant. Then Phil Harrison comes out. I kind of missed that part with Phil Harrison, but essentially he was talking about something about indie developers and how Microsoft just loves indie developers, how much we support indie developers, even though what they did with the Xbox One cuts any developers out of Xbox One. They can't self-publish. They pretty much destroyed a lot of the indie support right there. I mean, we saw Microsoft's so-called support for indie developers just this generation. We've seen it. We've seen how much they take their money. We've seen them push their games and move the indie part of Xbox Live's marketplace in basically the back burner. We've seen that. Microsoft does not care about the indie development team unless Microsoft actually takes a personal, and I mean a very personal standpoint and position within the development of that indie game. And then they showed a game called, it's not, we already know what Minecraft is, but essentially they're re-releasing Minecraft for the Xbox One to be more like the PC version. Not exactly like the PC version, but more like the PC version. Whoop-de-doo. Quantum Break is coming out for the Xbox One. They didn't show anything of Quantum Break except for the saucy detective and his very attractive deputy going to investigate something scientific in this building, and oh my god, everything's frozen in here. She's the scientist. She's the hot scientist behind all this technology. We must help her to help us. That's all they really showed. That's it. Nothing to really write home about. It's a boring trailer to a really bad science fiction TV show. Then they showed D4, a Connect murder mystery cel-shaded game. Multiplatform Project Spark. Using the smart glass and Connect, you can create a world, you can make rocks become dogs, and you can make rocks turn from little rock men to rock mechs. That kind of sounds cool, but if you saw what I saw, it looks fucking atrocious. It basically looks like Spyro the Dragon Skylanders with custom worlds you can build. That's really all it is, without the whole buying all the, action figures and shit to play the game. Let's see, that douchebag Mark Whitten came out. Like I said before, trying to upsell that these games are only made possible with the Xbox One architecture. That's a lie. You can join games with Kinect commands. You can do the same with a click of a button. Record footage and upload it to the Xbox One. Upload it from the Xbox One. It's like Twitch TV and stuff. Great. Twitch TV is also available and built into the Xbox One to broadcast your gameplay. I guess it saves people the time of connecting their Xbox to their, PC and just doing it that way, I guess. I guess they save you some kind of time by not having to connect your Xbox to your PC. Don't know how many seconds they saved you, but they saved you something. Some changes to Xbox Live. You can have as many friends as you want. No more Microsoft points, which is definitely a plus there. You have the Xbox Live Family Share, which there's a lot of questions that still go on about that. We don't know what kind of limitations they have on that. They're not going to explain it anytime soon, which is why they shut down the after press conference or whatever with media. Crimson Dragon, no audio. Same from the makers of Panzer Dragon, so yeah, it's going to be a good game. Multi-platform game, Dead Rising 3. Same thing, different game. I didn't understand why he had a brick on the roof to throw through the window, but I don't know. It's just the same thing, except he's not in a mall this time. Pretty much. You got smart glass artillery support. Essentially, they're really trying to upsell this smart glass thing as well, to where you can look at on your cell phone or on your Xbox tablets or whatever. They're really trying to sell this unity between Xbox One, Xbox phone, Xbox tablet, Windows 8. They're really trying to do this. But it's just not going to happen the way they want it to. They're not taking the phone market. They're not taking the tablet market. And people don't like Windows 8. So the only thing they can really upsell to anyone is the Xbox One, which they're not doing a good job of. And then another multi-platform game, The Witcher 3. Again, smart glass, and again, Kinect support. That's it. You don't really have a reason to play a game on Xbox rather than PS4. Except if you want to use Kinect commands and use some smart glass features. Which people aren't really going to fucking use in the first place. Who wants to dabble with their controller and then with their smartphone at the same time? EA and DICE came out, and their footage for Battlefield failed hard. So it looked like their only alternative was to play the PC footage of the game at the Xbox One conference. PC footage, which we already are used to, but they made it obvious up there when they had the whole battle log thing in the top right corner. And on the Xbox One, it has timed exclusive content. Oh, yes. There you go. There's your incentive. You can have map packs a month before anybody else. On the console, that requires you to be online. Doesn't that sound like fun? Gonna trade your freedoms for timed exclusive content. Seems like a good exchange to me. And then they had this one game that they literally just... I couldn't even tell what it was. I didn't know the name. I didn't know what... It was like a dungeon crawler type game, like a hack and slash game. But it was so zoomed out. I couldn't understand what the heck it was. And it was over in like 5 seconds. Black Tusk trailer. they're talking about this is all in-game footage. This is all made on the engine. All they had was this guy going down a rope, breaking into a building, molesting somebody, and then a camera zooming into technology going through the tubes and everything. Like Timmy Turner in Channel Chasers movie when he was going through all the channels and stuff like a tube. Wow. Great. Awesome. Or am I thinking the episode when he went the internet? Probably that one. Either way, similar thing. And then 343 came out. They're releasing a new Halo, which we already knew and predicted. Not only on the Xbox One, but they're also releasing one on the PC as well for Windows 8. And let me tell you right now, if it's on Windows 8, you're not going to have a lot of people playing it. But then again, on the PC, remember the last time you guys tried to make a requirement for an operating system for a Halo game? Remember Halo 2? How you guys required everyone to have Windows Vista? Remember that? Well, guess what? People still played it on Xbox. God, I'm getting us all mixed up. People still played it on Windows XP, even though your requirement was Windows Vista. So you know what? Here's what we gotta say to your Windows 8. We'll play it on Windows 7, motherfucker. And then the lady comes out, and for the first time on an Xbox console, you'll be playing Halo at a blistering 60 frames per second. Oh, wow. 60 frames? Is that all? Is that all? You think we forgot all the lies you guys have told us regarding the Halo games? How you guys told us they were in HD when in fact many of them were only 640p. We haven't forgotten your lies. And then the Xbox One releases November 2013, and it retails at $499 US. And then the last game, now here's the real kicker. They try to end this game, not this game, but this conference on this one last game called Titanfall. And these people on stage, live, said that Titanfall is an Xbox exclusive title. It's coming to PC as well. Same thing they said with Mass Effect 2. Same thing they said with Splinter Cell Conviction, that these games were only available on Xbox. Outright lies to the gaming community, to gamers, to anyone who's watching. And people want to support a company that's an outright lie to people straight to their face? That's how much respect they have for you as a consumer. And then that last guy they had up there, I forget who he was, but even he said it's exclusive to Xbox. He was tripping over saying that because it's a fucking lie. It was so obvious. But they try to play it up as if, hey, it's our game and no one else can get it unless they buy the Xbox platform. That's not true. But anyway, guys, Microsoft's conference was a fail, just like we all predicted. This is what they have in store for gaming. All they did was announce a bunch of multi-platform games, a few exclusives, many of which we already knew. While on the other hand, Sony has already got like 40 games confirmed for the PS4 before their E3 even starts. Microsoft, from a gaming standpoint, you got a lot of catching up to do. But then again, we know you don't care about that. We know that. You're not worried about the gaming aspect of your box. Your main focus is to cheat, lie, and consume as many consumers as possible to make money. Like your free-to-play games that require a gold subscription. It is the biggest joke in gaming history. This really is. The Xbox One is the biggest gaming joke in gaming history. I would rather play a Leapfrog. I'd rather go get Aladdin Counts with Genie for the Leapfrog and play that than get your Xbox One. I'd rather sear my eyes out with the Visual Boy than play the Xbox One. That's all I got to say about Microsoft's failure of a conference. Gamers, it's getting serious. I'm telling you right now, it's getting serious. This generation, we have to buckle down and let them know what we want. This stuff does not need to be allowed.